Welcome back, everybody. Today I wanted to talk about fragrance and the stories and emotions that they can evoke, and why some fragrances are particularly special and stay in my collection, even if they're not an absolute love. A particular fragrance can still make you feel a certain way or remind you of a story, even just the backstory of how you came to love that fragrance. I was talking to a good friend about this particular thing, how sometimes you can discover a fragrance just by pure fate and, just by chance, talking about trying samples that you were never meant to try and then wearing that fragrance and loving it. And I'm going to start off the video with that particular instance for me. I got a package of samples years ago from someone who I knew from Instagram, and we swapped some samples. And in that package, I feel like it was obviously something that they didn't want anymore, and they just threw it in there as a bonus thing. And this is a perfume that I was never had any real intention of smelling in the store. I knew about it, but it never was something that I had a plan to test or sample, and it just happened to be there. But the moment I sprayed it on my skin, it was instant love. And I've mentioned this before, but Equipage Geranium currently is my very favorite fragrance in my whole bottle wardrobe. And like I said, I had convinced myself at the time that geranium was not a note that I really liked. And that was really based on associations from my childhood. And when I sprayed this onto my skin, it was one of those moments where the back of my hand was permanently glued to my nose. Well, not permanently, but glued to my nose for a good 6 to 7 hours after that. I had to wait a little bit to find somewhere that had it in stock, and I bought it immediately. Those kind of stories are the things I like about perfume in particular, but like good art, great perfumes, when they're great for you, can provoke an emotion or give you a story, make you feel a certain way. And Equipage Geranium is like that for me. And even conversely, when you at first don't like a fragrance, and for whatever reason, the universe keeps presenting it back into your sphere. So Equipage Geranium was a pure 1 in a million, well, probably not 1 in a million, but the odds were stacked against it for me ever trying it. And because someone happened to throw a sample into a parcel, I got to try it. On the other hand, there are fragrances that I am exposed to constantly just because of their availability in stores. And obviously I would walk into perfume counters a lot. And Habit Rouge from Guerlain is one of those fragrances. And for whatever reason, I constantly was trying to smell it, and the first 6 or 7 times it just wasn't doing anything for me. But I always had this impulse to spray it on each time I walked past it. And then I one day finally put it on again, and it just clicked. I don't know. The fragrance didn't change. It was always from the same style of bottle. So this particular version of Habit Rouge, but something in my brain clicked and rewired itself and said, yeah, you like this fragrance now. So Habit Rouge is a little bit like that. When it comes to particular stories, there's a fragrance that I keep in my collection, because I like it. Let's face it, the the top tier of reasoning why we keep a perfume, why we love a perfume, is because it smells good to you. And then the secondary factors beneath that are what are why a perfume becomes important to you. And so those two stories with Habit Rouge and Equipage Uranium, two perfumes I love and intend to keep in my wardrobe as long as I can, barring discontinuation. This fragrance here is from a brand called Gocce de Byron, and they're based in Italy. And as far as I know still, they have very, very limited distribution. When I travelled to Italy 5 years ago in 2019, I went to Cinque Terre, stayed in a little town called Vernazza, and they happened to have a store there stocking this brand. And I tried a few of them. This one here is a fig-based fragrance, fig and sandalwood. And I smelled this and I really loved it. And I must have been in the mood of the time, that the fact that I was on holiday, I was in the beautiful surroundings, and there were actual fig trees along the narrow streets in the tiny houses. And this basically was reflective of that particular trip, and it is just really one of the most evocative and nostalgic fragrances that I own, and I love spraying this on in summer. When it comes to fragrances and the way they actually make you feel, help you, I guess, shift your personality into different gears, I have a few fragrances that do that for me. And I was reminded that I had made a video about 6 years ago now, 2018, which you can probably see on the screen, and I'll link to it in the description. I made a video back then about the fragrances and the particular emotions, or I guess personality traits that they brought out in me. And 6 years on, I dare say that I have a bunch of different fragrances that do similar things for me. When it comes just to simply a fragrance making me instantly happy, essentially a fragrance that you spray on and just brings a smile to your face, everything about it when you smell it brings back emotions of happiness, of joy, of pleasure. I think in my case, this fragrance lets me remember the time I spent in Rome, warm weather, and it was because I was wearing it a lot at that particular point. So I have that memory association, and now that fragrance always brings that back for me, and that is Séville à l'Aube. And you'll see by some of the fragrances I mention in this video that they're all fragrances that I really love, always rate high when I make top 10 lists and that kind of thing. So my happy fragrance is Séville à l'Aube by L'artisan. And I'm going to talk about another L'artisan perfume that not necessarily when I feel this way, but sometimes I like a perfume to sort of quiet down my inner turmoil. Turmoil's a bit strong, but just when I want to quiet down everything inside and I want to feel a little bit grounded, I love wearing Zonka by L'artisan Parfumeur. This, honestly, I don't know if it's the association with Zonka and where that word originates from, but I can't help but feel like I am resident in a Tibetan monastery high up in the Himalayas when I'm wearing this, and I feel at peace, I feel wise, and sometimes you need a perfume. Well, you need to feel that way, and some perfumes really help you get there. On the other hand, when I want to feel that I am serious and focused and not to be messed with, I go for something that still smells amazing to me, but really gives me a sense of inner strength, and nothing sort of personifies that in a perfume for me more than Dior's Eau Sauvage Parfum. I think of it, maybe it is because the scent itself is a strong scent. It's not too bold in what you are smelling. It smells really put together and classy, and just really gives off that vibe of someone that is serious and wanting just to get the job done. When I want to feel a little bit more whimsical, nostalgic, romantic even, this is the fragrance that does it for me. And I have The Afternoon of a Fawn from Etat Libre d'Orange, and this smells to me like whimsy, like daydreaming, romance, nostalgia, and I have some lovely memories associated with this fragrance as well. And needless to say that every time I wear that, all those feelings come back to me. And I want to finish off this fragrance, this fragrance. I want to finish off this video by talking about one other darker facet of my personality when I want to feel a little bit naughty, with a bit of swagger, and walk with a strut, and feeling confident in myself, attractive even. I can't go past Absolu pour le Soir by Maison Francis Kurkdjian. This actually is a fragrance to me that requires you to get into that mindset to be confident enough to wear a scent that smells like this. And it's sort of a self-perpetuating cycle that you get into that mindset, you spray this on, and it just builds on that swagger and confidence, and definitely is a sexy scent from my perspective. And just on the topic of Absolu pour le Soir, hopefully, fingers crossed, a very kind subscriber is sending me a sample of the new version of this fragrance, and hopefully not too long I'll be able to do a comparison with whatever I've got left of the old version and see what it smells like compared to the new one. So I would obviously love to hear about fragrances with your special backstories, or the way certain fragrances make you feel, or if you need to get into a particular mindset, what do you wear? I'd love to read them. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. I enjoy doing videos like this because it kind of takes the pressure off. There's a bit of pressure when you have to talk, when you have to review something and describe what it smells like. And I really do love talking about how fragrance makes me feel, what it makes me remember, how I associate with those memories and with the scent. I love perfume. Thanks for watching. See you later.